Okay, welcome to the first ever group preview from Footy Stats. We are going to be previewing United versus Chelsea FA Cup. Joining me today is Sasank, aka Faf. Say hi, Faf.
Hey, what's up?
And also making his debut on the Footy Stats channel is Vikas Mohandas.
Hey, good to see you, man. Sampy.
Hi, so you guys excited about this?
I wish I could say that.
It is.
Vikas, how do you feel about it?
Well, it's one of the biggest games of the season for us because, we just have like two competitions. So,
Yeah,
we have to win.
just to make it clear, Vic was a Chelsea fan.
Yeah, Vikas will be talking about Chelsea while Faf will be talking about United. So let's start off. Let's talk about our season so far, right? So, Viku, why don't you tell us about like Chelsea's season so far? What do you think about it? What do you think about Conte? What do you think about the 3-4-3?
I think no one expected Chelsea to do so well in this season, especially after last season.
Mm-hmm.
And if you saw the preseason predictions, people were mostly for Manchester United or Manchester City. So it's beyond any of our expectations that we are 10 points clear right now. And Conte has has been a huge factor for this. His impact on the club has been, I would say, as much as what Jose's impact was during the 04-05 season. Everyone would point to that Arsenal game, the 3-0 game, but I would say the biggest impact which he's made is the team was in disarray after last season, after Mourinho. And there was like infighting. Players were supposed to leave. Costa was unhappy with the situation. And Conte has really calmed that down. He's had a soothing presence on the squad. I think that's contributed as much to our fortunes as the change of formation to the 3-4-3.
Faf, what do you think? Like, what do you think about United season so far?
I think Biku touched upon a good point there because the preseason predictions, most pundits went either for United or City. And I think some people didn't even predict that Chelsea would be in the top four. It's safe to say that most United fans would not have expected United to be in sixth. And as we've seen, we've struggled to get out of sixth. Every time we had an opportunity to get out of sixth place, we've failed to take it. We failed to capitalize on the shortcomings of the other teams in the top four. But compared to last season, and especially the last three seasons from since Ferguson retired, I feel that Mourinho has taken the club back to a place where it's exciting. When you wake up on a Saturday and you know that there's a game, you're excited because the team plays really good football these days. And I feel that the only place where we're lacking is finishing our chances because I saw a stat recently which said I think even if you look at the game, the previous Chelsea-Manchester United game at Stamford Bridge, I think Chelsea scored 4 goals and they had 4 shots on target. That's something which United needs to do. It's what any great team does. They capitalize on the chances that they create. You need to have the scoreline reflect how well you play.
But it's funny, right? Because if you think we have one of the world's best strikers in Zlatan Ibrahimovic, but our chance conversion is still not as high as we expect it to be.
Yeah, you have one of the world's best strikers. Admittedly, he's on the way in, but he has actually clicked. He scored 26 goals this season. So that's not where the problem lies. The problem lies that we are relying way too much on him. You need to get goals from the others. We are getting a few goals. Like I think Mata scored around 6 to 7 and some crucial goals. And Martial, Mkhitaryan, they've all chipped in. But I think that's how much they've chipped in is not enough. And overall, it's been underwhelming. But it's exciting because on a match-by-match basis, they are playing much better than how it was under Van Gaal. And even if they finish 6th this season and finish out of the top 4, they make a good run in the Europa League, hopefully find a way to the Champions League through that and the League Cup win. I think that's a good enough season and a good stepping point for next season. It's been an underwhelming season, but things are looking up.
Okay, quickly, what do you think of Chelsea season so far, Faf?
It's a very surprising thing that Chelsea is running away with the league, especially given Guardiola's at City, Klopp is at Liverpool, and Wenger, I would like to say he's at Arsenal, but that's more of the same. And since Mourinho's come in as well, it's surprising that one team is actually running away with the league. But you have to admit that Conte has had the privilege of not having any European competition and not having the pressure that say Mourinho or Guardiola has at City and United. No one really expected Chelsea to do well, and you have to see that he does have the team which won the league 2 years ago, and they've added the league's best midfielder in Kante. If you take last season out of the equation, Chelsea has one of the strongest squads, and since they just need to play every weekend, they need to have maybe 11 to 14 really good players, and that's all they need really to do well.
Yeah, like I touched upon, we already had a good squad. I think the biggest strength which Conte's brought about is stability and also more positivity in the club, because he's taken away the mind games from the press conference. He doesn't, I mean, we've had far less incidents off the pitch, and his transfers have been pretty spot on. He knew what he was getting with these transfers. He knew that he wanted to go back to a 3-man defense. Alonso was a very underwhelming transfer for us when we got him, but he's fitted in seamlessly. I mean, he's nothing extraordinary, but he puts on a 7 on 10 performance almost every game.
What do you think, Vico? What do you think about United, like United season so far? Like we took one of your best managers, and like it feels like he has changed his ways in more ways than one. The feeling is more of a positive. There's a more positive vibe around Old Trafford than I detected around Stamford Bridge at any time whenever Mourinho was there.
I mean, United have been unbeaten since the loss to Chelsea, so they are becoming more of what you would call a Mourinho team. That is a hard team to beat. Mm-hmm. So I think, like as Faf touched upon, if the chance conversion for United does improve, which it will improve, generally Mourinho's impact is strongest in the second season. Then I think Manchester United would be one of the main contenders for the title next season, and I do expect them to get into the top 4 this season.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's move on, and Faf, give me your starting 11 for tomorrow.
For United, I think David De Gea has to start in goal. And Valencia on the right back, he's started almost every game, whether it's important or not. I think Luke Shaw will start on the left, simply because he didn't travel to Russia. And
that's a surprising pick.
No, it's just that Daley Blind's just played almost 90 minutes 3 days ago, and so did Marcus Rojo in the middle of defense. I think in centre back we'll probably see Smalling and Bailly, because Mourinho usually goes for either Smalling and Bailly or Jones and Rojo, and I think he'll go for Smalling and Bailly. In midfield, I think it'll be Carrick, Pogba, and Herrera. Again, Carrick didn't play a single minute in Russia, and in attack, I think we'll see Mata on the right. I'm not sure if Mkhitaryan will start, but I think it'll be Martial on the left, and I think it'll be Wayne Rooney up front, because as we saw from Chelsea over the past few weeks, they're really strong in defense, and while Rashford's pace will stretch the defense maybe to wide areas, they're vulnerable in the air, and I think Rooney's aerial ability.
Okay, seems like Faf is just disconnected with us for some time.
Okay, so I think our team kind of picks itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be Courtois at goal with Azpilicueta, Luiz, and Cahill.
Mm-hmm.
And I do expect him to play a full-strength squad, because we really have just 2 competitions to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
And even though he's not done so in the FA Cup so far, where we have played pretty much a second-string squad with maybe 2-3 starters, but I do expect a full-strength squad. In the midfield, it gets pretty interesting. I think Alonso and Moses pick themselves, as well as Kante. And I do expect the other central midfielder to be Matic, because I do not think that we want to concede against United, because as we have seen, United are a hard team to beat, and their defense, and Mourinho has the capability of strengthening the defense after getting an early goal. His teams are generally usually hard to beat after they get that early goal.
But then it seems almost unfair to leave someone like Fabregas out, because if I'm not wrong, I mean, I haven't seen all of Chelsea's matches, all 90 minutes, but from whatever I've seen or whatever I've read, it almost seems like whenever Fabregas comes on, he has had an impact.
I do agree that he has had an impact, but what I feel about the season and how Conte's used Fabregas has had this very popular slump in the second half of the season. But he's not had that this time, because he's been used in a more rotational way. He's been starting matches, he's been coming off the bench. and he still made an intense contribution off the bench. So you can't really say that Fabregas has been in really good form, which he has, contributing assists and goals, but that may be because of the way he's used, that he's not starting every game and he's starting maybe once in 2 games and coming off the bench because he's creating a bigger impact this way, and his form could be due to that. So
Okay,
I do
and
expect Matic to start, and the forward line being Hazard, Pedro, and Costa.
Okay, no, William?
No, because Pedro's been in sublime form this season. He's been one
Because
of
whenever Pedro has been in form, but at times I've seen that Willian is chosen over Pedro. When I suppose when Conte wants a bit more defensive solidity with someone to help out Moses on the right hand side, he usually starts with Pedro. Starts with Willian.
He does, but Pedro's been such a attacking goal threat more so than Hazard this season. And as you saw with the early goal against United during the 4-0, that Pedro is such an integral component for us to add goals. Willian's not as much a goal scorer as Pedro, and I do expect Pedro to start, especially if Matic is in central midfield. Yeah.
Okay, Faf, we were almost done with your lineup, but if I'm right, we're talking about the forward line, and you said you're going to start Rooney up top with Mata and Martial behind him.
Yeah. I was just saying that since Chelsea conceded a couple of goals, if you remember against Spurs, Dele Alli exploited the gap between
the cross at the back post, right?
Yeah, so I think that Rashford maybe to come on a little later to stretch the tired defenders, because when you have 3 at the back, and they play their fullbacks so high up the pitch that you'd want to drag the centre backs out wide so that you create space for the other players. Rooney probably won't be able to do that now, but I think Mourinho would want to give Rooney this opportunity of playing in the FA Cup, because I don't think he'll get to start too many big games for the rest of the season. So, and since FA Cup is probably third on United's priority list right now, because probably is their first choice, and that's going to be done either through the Europa League or the Premier League. So,
right.
I think, yeah.
Well, but what do you think about the fact that Mourinho employed a 3 at the back formation against Rostov?
I think that was just simply down to the pitch. He knew that the midfield would completely be bypassed, and Rostov would have to play long ball, and United also had to play long balls because no one could really string more than 3-4 passes together. And I would be really surprised to see him go with a 3 at the back against Chelsea, simply because I don't think our defense is composed enough to deal with it. 3 at the back requires a lot of discipline and a lot of practice, and Mourinho has certainly not deployed 3 at the back. He never switches to 3 at the back, and definitely not in a big game against Chelsea.
Yeah, it was a surprise, wasn't it? Okay, now to the big question to you, Faf. How much are we going to miss the big man?
That's it's a bittersweet thing that he's actually suspended, because if whenever
by the way,
Zlatan
in case
plays,
people don't understand who I'm talking about, it's Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and you need to watch more football. But yeah, go on.
So basically, whenever Zlatan plays, he's almost our sole goal threat. When we have Martial and Mata behind him, they sometimes chip in with goals, but we tend to play through Zlatan. Like, it's frustrating at times because he drops back, he comes back into midfield, and sometimes the crosses are made and he's not in the box. Usually when he doesn't score, you wouldn't say that he's playing too well. So it could be a good chance for, say, Rooney or Rashford or Martial, whoever is chosen to play in the number 9.
Okay, seems like he's disconnected again. Technical difficulties. Wow.
Yeah, I do think that Zlatan is a big miss, but then it gives United more strength in other areas. Like, for example, pace up top, especially if Rooney doesn't start. I mean, I'd be, as a Chelsea fan, I'd be more scared of Rashford than Rooney, because Rashford, Martial, Mkhitaryan is a very frightening proposition, especially with the not so agile Cahill at left centre back, and Alonso, who's not that quick himself.
But then we spoke about it, because if I remember, the one game which I remember where Chelsea were absolutely dominated was Chelsea versus Spurs, the 2-0. I think it was at Lane. Was it at White Hart Lane?
Yeah.
And what Faf touched upon was a very key point, where the cross to the back post was exploited heavily.
I do agree. But they've become increasingly better at it, because last time West Ham tried to employ a very similar tactic with Andy Carroll. And I mean, their whole game plan was just crossing into the box. And Azpilicueta and Moses dealt with it pretty comfortably. and Luis. So I think it was a weakness, and it is probably still a weakness, especially if Zlatan was starting, because the height difference between Azpilicueta and Zlatan is quite incredibly big.
Mm.
But I do expect them to handle Wayne Rooney effectively, considering that they did pretty well against Andy Carroll, who's one of the best headers of the ball.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that the reason Mourinho would probably go with Rooney is because other than the fact that I spoke about crosses, it's simply because I don't see Mourinho playing an expansive game tomorrow at Stamford Bridge. That's what they did last time they went out there. They tried to, go hit Chelsea, but now everyone knows that Chelsea is a very well-drilled team, and they go out there as favorites. They're at home. They're running away with the league. They haven't really dropped too many points in the league itself. And I think the only defeat at Stamford Bridge came at the hands of Arsenal before they were in a 3 at the back situation. So Mourinho knows that he's not expected to go there and smash Chelsea, and he's probably not even expected to reach the semi-finals ahead of them. So he doesn't have the pressure of having to take the game to them. So he'll probably sit back and get them on the counter.
I don't think in current form anybody's expected to go, and even like getting a point at Chelsea is a huge thing right now.
Yeah. So I feel that. So that's why, I mean, more than us attacking them, deploying Rooney could be a more conservative move.
Okay, so Faf, quickly tell me which are the key areas that you expect Mourinho to focus on, where the key battles will be on the pitch.
It'll be really hard to stop their attacking three, Hazard, Pedro, and Costa. If you see how fast they counter, even against small teams like West Ham, if you saw their first goal, it was off a West Ham free kick on the edge of the box. So I'm pretty sure Mourinho will just instruct them to always you'll probably see Valencia and whoever plays on the left to not go too far ahead, and even if they do, you'll see them tracking back a lot, and you'll see the wingers tracking back a lot more. And I wouldn't actually be surprised to see Lingard make some kind of an appearance either off the bench or start, because if you notice, Mourinho tends to go with him whenever he needs defensive stability. And you'll see Carrick almost acting like a third centre-back. I'm pretty sure he'll start off very defensive. He won't want a negative start like last time, because that really affects the game. And I think that if we somehow go into... I think his aim would be to go into halftime without conceding a goal. A goal by then, it's all in good, and he'll try shutting shop. But if he goes into halftime at 0-0, I think he'll really be able to put pressure on Chelsea.
Viku, where do you think the key battles will be on the pitch?
I'm personally afraid of central midfield, the central midfield area, because as good as we've been with Kante and Matic, it is a place where we can get overloaded. Like Tottenham, when they did play against us, they overloaded us in the midfield area. Like they did not stretch the play too much. If you noticed, Eriksen's crosses were not really at the wing. It was between the channels, the wing and the central midfield area, where they outnumbered us. I mean, it was just Kante and Matic versus three people in central midfield for Tottenham. And United have a strong central midfield with Herrera, who's a similar player to Kante, pretty annoying, and Pogba.
He's a lovable bastard, isn't he?
Yeah. So I do expect that if they're on form, I do expect an overload there, which could hurt us.
Okay. Finally, because what's your prediction?
I expect United to go through. I expect a Chelsea defeat. But
come on. No. No, you're just kidding us.
No. If we do win, it's our record 13th consecutive victory at Stamford Bridge, which has never been achieved. The record's always been 12, and it's happened 3 times. So, and it was the okay. These are just random stats, It was the same thing during our consecutive run with Arsenal. We did not achieve the record. We were tied again. And okay, now leaving the stats out, give me
the scoreline. Give me the scoreline.
Yeah, I think it would go to extra time, and United win 2-1 in extra time.
Extra time, the score before extra time being 1-1?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Faf, I'm guessing you're predicting a Chelsea victory?
I really, I mean, it's a hard one to predict simply because, like United don't have the same, like if it was any other season, you'd expect Mourinho to go out there and do the job. But this United team haven't been defensively that good. So I don't see them keeping a clean sheet. And if you don't keep a clean sheet against Chelsea, it's going to be really hard because then they'll start hitting you on the counter. So I think that if we concede in the first half, it's going to be a big problem and we'll probably lose 2-0. But if we somehow, just try keeping a clean sheet till even 60th or 70th minute, then I would say that if the game goes to extra time, United will probably be favourites. Simply because Chelsea is expected to win and that playing on their players' heads. And if you see people like Hazard and Costa, they usually talk about getting the double. Like it's already in the press. Like Conte has also asked if Conte said, "Yeah, we're going for the double," but like Mourinho's asked question. Mourinho's main drawback is the expectation on him and not on the team. He does that really well. He draws away the expectation from the team and it becomes pressure on him. So I don't think the players will have the pressure of having to go out there and win, which Chelsea players might have. So I think if it goes down to those crunch situations, it might be a United advantage. But I mean, everything points towards.
What's the scoreline? What do you think the scoreline will be?
Yeah, if I had to predict now, I would say Chelsea would win 2-0, but I really hope that we can take it extra time and then hopefully nick one and then maybe win it late in extra time or on penalties.
Okay, so Fab says 2-0, Viku says 2-1 to United. I'm gonna go with 4-0 to Chelsea, just because there's historical precedent.
Big call.
Okay, thanks a lot for all of you guys watching. Be back soon because we'll have lots more new content very soon. Bye bye.
See ya.